Imagine you've got cancer. That's the worst, you know. It could spread and totally mess you up. So what do? They cut it out. They burn it out. You might even have to go through some pain for a while. But hey, better to get rid of it, right? The thing is, they say, we've got to torture these people because, like, maybe, just maybe, in their suffering, they'll repent and say something that'll make everything better. It's kind of like a twisted, messed up way of thinking. But they did it with what they thought was mercy. Like people doing the torturing thought they were doing the right thing, believing they were saving the soul, or whatever. But that's messed up, right? And it's weird. But it kind of makes you think about people today. You know, people are still kind of like that. They still do that, just with different names. We act like we're trying to help, but sometimes we're just repeating the same old mistakes. Like doctors, right? They gotta accept sickness, even the really bad stuff. They can't just be like, ooh, gross, and shut down. They gotta see the person for who they really are. Sick, sure. But that's like the heart of it. You can't change someone if you don't accept them. And that's the trick. Acceptance isn't easy. But it's everything. Simple, right? But the simplest things are the hardest to do. You don't really get that until you try. So, speaking of acceptance, it's funny how people talk about like heaven being inside you or whatever. They say it's looking within and realizing you're holy, no matter what. Like you could be messed up and sick or just plain boring, and it doesn't matter. You're still a part of something big. The psalmist, you know? I am fearfully and wonderfully made, or something like that. It's true, though. We're all these things. Strange little creatures. Each of us a weird strain of life. Doing our thing. And inside us, it's like some deep, crazy unknown, as if the vastness of space. Yeah, right inside, there's this endless depth in us. Just like how we look at stars and stuff. It's like, whoa, mind-blowing. But you know, people try to keep clean their minds, right? Like, they think if they get rid of all the weird thoughts and bad feelings, then everything will be fine. They try to wipe their minds clean. But dude, that's impossible. It's like trying to get rid of like goblins in your head. You can't banish them. But that's like what people are doing. Going to therapists, trying to get rid of those feelings, right? The whole point is to accept all of that stuff in yourself. Like the weird, spontaneous emotions and thoughts. That's just part of being human. You can't run from that. So, here's the thing. You start to wonder, who made all this stuff happen? Who created this mess? And then you wonder, are we going to fix it? Can we fix it? Where do we put all this stuff we can't deal with or don't want to deal with? And like, the big question is this serious? We're all sitting around thinking we're terrible, right? Like we messed up. But it's not about feeling guilty. That's a trick. When you're human, you got all this weirdness. But you don't need to feel guilty about it. That's absurd. But you know, people still try to fix it, right? They want to cure all the ills and fix all the problems. Just like back in the day with the hearsay thing. People used to be tortured to make them better. And now, well, we're still kind of doing the same thing, just with fancier names. It's like society's trying to fix things. But maybe it's just another way of keeping the system running. We think we're helping. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need more. No! You need less. You need to get rid of the filth they pumped into your veins. They poisoned you, poisoned your soul, and you don't even know it.
But hey, we're all caught up in it, right? And we can't see it
because we're in it. We think we're doing good. But sometimes it's just the same old cycle. Like if you got a church full of people who get cured or whatever, and then new people come in, and the cycle keeps going. It's like a raft. People float along, never questioning where it's going. And poetry, yeah, that's another thing. It got all weird and complicated, like before, right? And the only really smart people could get it. It was all like up in the clouds. But the trick is, we need to make it simpler, not more complicated. And that's the thing with science today, right? They got all these rules. Like, you can't take this. You can't do that. And all this control. It's like they're the new priests, wearing their lab coats instead of robes. But like, for all the control they want, it's impossible. People are still going to do their thing. They'll be like leaves on the wind, drifting where they will. It's like we can't control it. We just have to let it happen. I remember when I had my first experience. Everything was all tense, and I was trying to figure stuff out. Then, I just let go. I stopped trying so hard. And suddenly, I felt like I was a leaf on the wind. You know? Just drifting. It was like freeing. My dad always said, focus on what you want and you'll achieve anything. But he never got it. Got any of it. It's not about focusing. It's about being. Life is like sand slipping through your fingers. If you try too hard, it just slips away. You got to just watch it and let it happen. And consciousness is like a field, right? It's just this space where stuff happens. Like what you are right now. And if you know, you know, you know? Perichoresis.